Good, go.
Okay, everybody, it's Edie Sellers from Gamehounds. Gamehounds, happy endings, although this is not a happy ending. Well, I guess it's sort of. We just finished up watching the Xbox keynote at E3 2013. And rather than doing it as a live commentary, we're kind of trying two different things. If you watched the first keynote that we did a couple weeks ago, we actually commented during the show. In this one, we're actually waiting till after. We'd like to know your opinion about what you think you like better, whether you like us hearing about it from us afterwards or during the show.
Yeah, this is kind of a recap of everything, and we just thought we'd try it this way because when you're watching, it's hard to watch and then listen to us, and it's even hard for us to commentate while trying to listen.
Oh, I don't have a problem commentating.
Well, no, there's a lot of dead
Goldie
air.
has a problem commentating.
No, I like to watch and take it in and then talk about it, but like while it's happening, it's like I couldn't. If I said something, you couldn't interact because then you'd miss something.
You'd miss something, right? So, all right.
Like watching a Super Bowl, you want to watch it and then talk about it after the play.
Yeah. All right. So let's hit the. We'll start from the beginning. Opened up the whole thing with Metal Gear, new Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, which is going to come to Xbox 360. It looks like. Didn't they say it? No? Yes? Did they? No. It looks like that's an Xbox One.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That's not 360.
It's actually going to be an open world Metal Gear. So that's going to be totally different than what we're used to. It's going to have real-time weather. There's going to be multiple modes of transportation. They showed us.
That's kind of all standard for open world.
Right.
I'm really interested by the fact that it's in Afghanistan. I think that's pretty cool. That kind of goes with Kojima and Metal Gear, willing to take on like kind of sensitive wartime subjects in this batshit crazy universe of his.
Right.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I kind of like
I was
the fact
more
that
intrigued by that than I thought I would be.
It looks like Assassin's Creed, Metal Gear Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah,
because there's a lot of stealth stuff. In fact, they showed a horse where you're riding by on the horse and you kind of hang off the side of the horse, so you let the horse hide you as you're running by someone.
Now, this is the first time it's coming to Xbox, right?
Yeah. Metal Gear Rising came to Xbox, but
it's not been a full game. By the way, I'm sorry if I'm drinking coffee, but
yeah, not an official Metal Gear Solid 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they kicked off the show with that. That looked pretty wild.
And they also did mention up that there's going to be 13 next-gen only titles on Xbox.
And then became the best part of the show.
The 360
a lot. And this was really weird to me that we were sitting here expecting all this Xbox One talk, and then they come out and they says, hey, we got a new 360 that's out in the market. It's quieter. It's this. It's that. It makes coffee for you. And, it's a new look. It's available today. They got we'll talk about some of the things, but they did a lot of 360 talk.
Well, yeah, because they had originally said that they're going to support
it
until 2017. There's going to be new. EA is putting out new games until 2017. We got 4 more years of games coming from EA. Just EA in the last.
Yeah, but remember when the 360 come out, there were still companies that were making games of both the Xbox
I think that was different. Like Microsoft wanted to abandon the Xbox. Like they could not get away from that fast enough.
Right.
Like they really wanted to, but now with the install base of the 360, like they don't want to abandon the 360 to the same extreme. It's like their intentions, I guess, maybe not intentions, but their feelings toward the last generation are completely opposite that they were last time.
Yeah, I guess you're right, Wally.
So
they did a lot of 360 talk, and I was really excited about that. And I know they're going to support it.
What was the 360 game they showed off? I can't remember what it was.
Well, first off, the next thing that they said as soon as they're introducing, by the way, this new Xbox 360, smaller, sleeker, quieter, looks about the same. Actually, it's no ginormous engineering feat. But the things that they did make a big deal out about is that starting, do they say when, that the Xbox Gold was July? You're going to get 2 free game downloads per month with your Xbox Gold.
So they said, I'm curious if that's like the PSN system.
It's
where,
right. PlayStation Plus. It reminds me of PlayStation Plus. Yes.
But the thing about PlayStation Plus is that you only get those games as long as you're a subscriber.
Right.
And they said something like, they're yours to keep
Yours
forever.
to keep. And it's like...
And I wonder if that means that you can keep them even if you stop subscribing to Gold.
Right.
I don't know.
That's a very good question. I can't imagine they would, but they
same
did
here,
make
but-
a point of saying yours to keep forever.
Yeah.
What I did like, too, is the games that they announced first was Assassin's Creed 2 and Halo 3.
Right. Those are going to be the first, just two, but that's going to be the first
when
batch.
they said
It's
that,
gonna be
I was
those.
kind of thinking, oh, it's going to be, a couple of Xbox Live Arcade games. Maybe you'll get Fishing Frenzy 3 or something like that. But then they rolled out a couple of heavy hitters. Now, granted, they're not brand new titles. by
Not
any
even
means,
close.
But I was like, that's pretty cool, So, rolling out a couple of big games like that per month, we'll find out, how that goes. But I was really happy to see, and I know you keep saying the support to 2017, and Nick brought up a good point about how they kind of wanted to squash Xbox original, and the Xbox 360 not so much. Maybe it will be a longer transformation, but it just seemed like back in the day when they went away from original Xbox to 360, every one of my friends was on the 360 within a month or two, and it basically they made the Xbox original obsolete for me because I had nobody to play with. And eventually, the games that were being made for Xbox original, it just got less and less and less, like very quickly.
Right. They did mention for the 360 new games that are coming out, Splinter Cell Blacklist, bunch of other stuff, and then also said GTA 5 is going to be on the 360 as well as World of Tanks coming to 360.
That's right,
I'm
World of
excited
Tanks.
about that. Yes.
That was kind of... Although, I saw on Twitter someone made a really good point that free-to-play games are locked behind the gold paywall.
Right.
Ironic.
Yeah. So next up, they brought out Victor Casilli, CEO of Wargaming, to show off World of Tanks. It's going to be 15-on-15 warfare. He said that specifically this game is going to be tuned to the Xbox controller.
Nice.
It's due out this summer.
I
haven't played it on PC, but I mean, if you're controlling a tank, that
That
seems
almost-
like something you can do with the controller.
Yeah, it actually seems like it might be better on the controller.
It might be. Actually, I get a phone call from a friend of mine who says, can you see that World of Tanks coming next? Because we actually would play one of the old Call of Duties, and there was one mission that everybody got in tanks. I think it was called Iron Cross. And you would drive your tanks, and everybody, 4 of you got in a tank and finished the mission together. And he's like, boy, it'd be great if there was a tank game on Xbox. And he called me up and he's like, there it is, World of Tanks on Xbox. Woohoo!
So then Phil Spencer came out and said, introduced Max, the Curse of Brotherhood.
I thought that looked kind of cool, like kind of Okami-ish.
It's a platformer. It's a comedy-ish platform cartoon. One brother wishes the other brother would disappear, and he does, into apparently a very evil world. And then, of course, he has to go save his brother from this evil world that he
That
wished
looks like
him
it'd be
into.
a fun game to play Nick-faced.
Yeah. And then at that point, the UPS guy came to my door. I did write that down on my notes. So I missed everything up until Rise, Son of Rome, which is going to be on the Xbox.
One
Yeah,
game.
they had already moved on to the Xbox Ones. That's apparently going to be, looks like a huge title that they're going to promote because they've kept on mentioning it throughout the whole event. Rise, Son of Rome. Mm-hmm. It's going to be an exclusive. They made it a point of saying exclusive at launch, which means it's not a console exclusive. It's just exclusive at launch.
Or not Xbox exclusive.
It's Xbox One exclusive at launch. That's what they said.
Yeah, so it'll probably go to PlayStation 4.
PlayStation 4 a little bit later.
What'd you think of that? I thought it looked
Okay. It looks like an interesting meld of not only fighting, and it's sword fighting. Obviously, Son of Rome. You're a Roman soldier. It's a combination of fighting and commanding.
What are you guys talking about right now?
Rise, Son of Rome.
Did you guys skip over Dark Souls 2?
Yes, you did, because I said the UPS guy came. So what happened?
No, Dark Souls 2 looked like a hack and slash. I don't know. I don't like hack and slash, but this one looked pretty good.
Yeah.
I picked up Dark Souls for $10 on the Xbox, so I want to play that. And I enjoyed Demon Souls. When I played it for 5 hours or something. I like those games. Those are good games.
Yeah, that didn't look bad. But that basically wrapped up the 360 right there.
Well, yeah, the 360 was wrapped up. Oh, Dark Souls is the one that's going to come to 360. Okay, because that was the one I missed while the UPS guy was at the door.
I'm actually more interested in Dark Souls than Rise, just because I know that Dark Souls is kind of a very brutal type of hack and slash game.
Wait a minute, is Dark Souls for Xbox One or 360?
360.
Okay.
360, yeah.
But like, I know the gameplay of that is not God of War hack and slash. It's much more like take your time, focus on getting the hits right, because if you get hit, you're going to get messed up bad. Whereas Rise looks more God of War cinematic.
Didn't they have a trailer for Rise like 2 years ago at E3?
They did, and I remember it was a Kinect exclusive at that time.
Oh,
well,
man.
I would imagine there's probably going to be some connectivity in this one. That it's.
Did you
Yes.
say connectivity?
Yes, I did.
Oh my god!
Yes, I did.
You got to copyright that.
I'm going to go.
amazed.
By the way,
Microsoft
I
is
just a total side note. I did secure the URL for highdefrumble.com. Just so nobody can fucking use that again.
Oh my god! You know, connectivity would be a great name for a website dedicated to Kinect games.
That's true. Might have.
I have absolutely no desire to go to that website, but there you go.
So anyway, I would imagine that this is probably going to be connective in that way. That it's going to, you're going to be able to call out the commands to your dudes instead of just hitting the button to do it. Because it's going to be, not only your own fighting, but commanding your squad as well to do stuff.
In the chat room here, Thomas Brown Jr. says, Rise looks like a game you rent. Oh, but you can't do that anymore. So now we can't say, is it a buy or is it a rent? We can't do that anymore with Xbox.
Oh my god, the review scale is completely destroyed.
Yeah.
Is it a buy or a not buy?
Right. Shonikin says that his is the face of Kinectile dysfunction.
Oh, we're going to need a PlayStation pill for that.
Little green different.
Yeah,
So,
I had a one-word review for Rise, and it was meh.
I don't know.
It didn't do anything for me. It really didn't. When I'm thinking, new system, Xbox, and can I first just say, I should have said at the beginning, the whole Xbox One name is really screwing me up.
Yeah.
It really. Every time they went on, because they talked about the 360, so they have some games for 360, then they jump to the new system. So like it coming for Xbox One, and the way they said it was like, like when they said, oh, you can play it on the 360 and the Xbox One. Like they're going back before the 360.
Right.
The whole Xbox One name, every time they said it, I was thinking backwards, not forwards.
Right.
I really was, because it was like incoming, and this will be available for Xbox 360 and Xbox One. And I'm like, oh, original Xbox.
Right.
Oh, no, Xbox One is the new one. And I did a double take every time they said it. That name sucks.
Every time? Every single time?
Every time.
Every
I said
time?
Every time I said Xbox One, I'm thinking before Xbox 360, because we're in the transition.
Nick, how long do you think that I can get him to keep talking about how he gets confused about Xbox One? I think I can do 5 minutes.
Don't make me start drinking.
Okay, so, Xbox One exclusives. At that point, they started to show Killer Instinct, a button masher combat game.
Meh, another meh.
Yeah, for me
Yeah,
too.
I remember playing that for N64, and it's a fighting game, and I generally don't care about fighting games.
But they did use it to show off the
The Twitch TV streaming, which
Twitch
was
TV
cool.
streaming, which is going to be live, and then on top of it, you can actually take out clips of like your biggest stuff, use it on the DVR, and then wrap it in a skin that's actually already looks like it's preset, and be able to post it to. And they really didn't say where and when, but I'm thinking it's Microsoft servers. It's not going to be to the internet.
I remember Sony, when they had their reveal, they talked about how you could record things and post it to Ustream.
Right.
And I thought that was like probably one of the coolest things about that console. And it's really neat here to be able to see that you can not only record and upload stuff, but that you can also live stream things through Twitch, through the Xbox One. And then you can even have the comment window on the side.
Right.
Like, I think
it's essentially Spreaker for video games.
Yeah, except it's not just audio; it's gameplay as well.
Right, exactly. It's for video games. It's essentially
it's using the console to live stream.
Right.
And I love that idea. And it's that was great because it showed off how that whole Snapchat interface would work, focused on games.
I think PS will do that too. The 4 will do that. I think they both will.
I definitely,
just a few
Xbox might do it better. They might do it better, but
at least I got to see how it works on Xbox.
Yeah,
I got to see the interface
that's cool.
in action.
That is one of the things about the new system that is good. I mean, I'm dumping all over it because I don't like what I'm seeing, but yeah, I mean, they have made some improvements that are pretty cool. The next game here, I was all excited when I saw this one, Sunset Overdrive.
Sunset Overdrive by Insomniac.
I was like, this is going to be great. A nice driving game down Sunset Strip. Because I'm into racing games right now. This is going to be awesome. Then they come out and there wasn't any cars.
There's no drive in this.
No driving in Overdrive.
No
There's
driving
in
Overdrive.
It's
a stylized open world shooter. It reminds me a little bit of like Mirror's Edge.
Yeah, kind of. It had that whole free running,
wall walking and stuff. But there's guns involved. It's combat. It seems like there's a high level of I don't want to say comedy, but it seems like comedy in the way that Saints Row has its comedy. Yeah, exactly.
Like Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, like Ratchet and Clank, and
because it's from the same guys
fighting. Exactly.
I had a 2-word review for Sunset Overdrive. It was silly shooter.
Yeah.
It looks
and that's what Ratchet and Clank is.
Yes.
And Ratchet and Clank is so much just pure make you smile fun.
This one could be a little sleeper hit.
Yeah.
I put silly shooter, and silly, it could be good, could be bad. But it was like, the more I saw it, I was like, when it first started, I was like, oh man, it's not a driver game. This is totally stupid. But then I was like, well, is that the one the guy was shooting records?
Yes.
Yeah.
Shooting records when he uses the can of the can of it looks like energy drink into his, locks it into his gun and then shoots out to make it explosive. That I think that looks fun. I think that looks like a total fun.
Mm-hmm.
Then they brought out Forza 5. Turn 10 Studios. They brought out Dan Greenwald, who introduced a whole concept. First off, fucking gorgeous. They brought up that McLaren, that only two in the world McLarens, which was kind of cool.
Why would you only make 2 cars? How do you expect to make any money if you make 2 cars?
Do you know how much they sell those cars for?
I mean, they'd have to sell them for $500 million.
That's I don't know, $500 million, but they probably sell it for $250 to $300.
And does it think it has XM radio?
It probably does. So anyway, the Forza 5 looked beautiful. But the thing that they made a point of is that it's going to have something called a drivatar, which is more than just the AI. What it does, it's cloud. It's a cloud-based driving agent, and the drivatar essentially monitors how you drive, so that when you walk away, it essentially uses you as an AI. So you can play, like Nick can play against Chris, can play against Goalie in the multiplayer, even if they're not there, because the drivatar drives just like them. It knows when you tend to speed up, the speeds that you tend to go, how you take turns, when you start to pull dirty tricks, the kinds of situations. So it essentially becomes
how I constantly try to ram other people off the road.
Yeah,
yes,
me too.
Yeah. that was cool, but it was also, wasn't that creepy?
It is creepy.
Like I could race against you guys, and you guys could be sleeping. That is like wicked creepy.
Right. It's like, well, then why do you have a friends list?
See, yeah, who needs friends when I have computers?
Oh my gosh.
Thomas Brown says, if that car comes with the game, I will totally buy that game. Not the car, the game.
For $500 million.
Yeah. Actually, go look it up. Go find out. Goalie, do some research right now.
Yeah, but Thomas, though, keep in mind, if you bought the car along with an Xbox One game, you couldn't trade it in.
Yeah.
You're stuck with that car forever. And nobody can drive it. Nobody can drive it but you.
I'm going to throw out to the chat room, what McLaren was it? Because unfortunately I was writing just at that time and I missed it because I was writing something else and my brain kind of turned off to do that. Bad journalism thing. It's a habit I have to get out of. But I missed which kind of McLaren. Apparently there's only 2 in the world. How much are they worth? Chat room, go.
Chat room, go.
Chat room, go.
Go, chat room power.
It's like
Activate.
Voltron.
All right, next one's Phil Harrison came out and introduced Minecraft on Xbox One, which looks cool. I would have loved to have found out more information because the final splash screen had apparently more information. But the assholes who do the filming and video stuff for fucking Microsoft and put that on Xbox Live, they like to pull back from shit. For no fucking good reason. So you've got a full screen, you're looking, and all of a sudden then it's like, oh, I get to look at a static screen of everybody looking at the screen in front of us. Fuck me. People, seriously, where did you go to school to do that shit?
I don't know.
Ugh, drove me nuts. So anyway, apparently I saw sort of that there's bigger world. So Minecraft is coming to Xbox One. And they also brought out, introduced Quantum Break. Sam Lake from Remedy came out. You'll remember Remedy. It is Alan Wake. And kind of fleshed out more of what this game Quantum Break is about.
Didn't explain the live action stuff, but the game stuff looked cool.
Well, yeah, I did. And I think that someone else, I think I might have explained it. Did I talk to you about it? Kind of got a little inside story, a little inside tip. What it is, it's a television show and a completely separate game. How you play the game makes it entirely your own. Corey Wallace says it's a McLaren P1. Corey, how much is it a McLaren P1? If I wanted to go out to buy one of the two that's out there, how much would it cost me? Chat room, go. So,
that's awesome. We got to get that, chatroomgo.com. That'd be awesome.
Okay,
£800,000. No, wait. No. U.S. dollars, please.
Yes.
AC. We love you, man, but I don't know
just
what.
Double it. It's 1.5 times, so it's about $1.5 million, $1.75 million.
That is a heavy car.
All right, so Quantum Break. You have the television show. You have the game. Your game you play, it is your own experience. However, there is this weekly television show that comes out, and this television show gives you insights into what's happening in your game so that it alters what you know about the game so you can make different decisions.
Impact things.
I thought it was
on a gameplay level. It's just narrative.
I thought it was going to be more of impacting each other, but apparently not. But he said up there the TV show gives you insight to help you make decisions.
So it's kind of like the Alan Wake videos that came out before the game.
Right.
Like prequel stuff.
Right. And I don't really quite know if it was that successful. Would you consider that successful?
The Alan Wake videos?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are some of the best live action game-esque videos ever. Those things are great.
Right, but it's like
Twin Peaks. It's so cool.
But did they work? I mean, yes, they worked in their own part, but did they actually drive? Do you think they really drove interest in the game itself?
It made me buy the special edition as opposed to the regular version.
Okay, well, there you go. Yeah. Aruga says that's $1.15 million for that car.
Add to cart.
Yep.
I could afford that. Got that in my pocket.
Do you want overnight shipping?
Can I get that with Amazon Prime, please? Free 2-day shipping. I refuse to buy it unless I get free shipping.
Is this a gift?
Would you like this gift wrap, please?
Oh, I do want a gift wrap. I want the UPS guy to deliver that.
All right, so, but the game itself actually looks really cool. It's about your protagonist is named Jack. He survives a failed experiment that has broken down time. And that whole scene of where there was an explosion, and mid-explosion there's somebody flying back who I guess is one of the scientists that was working on this failed experiment. And she's literally microseconds from dying, and he pulls her out of the explosion and talks to her and says, how did this happen? What the fuck is going on? And she gives him a little bit of information, and then it all breaks down and it goes bad. I think it looks kind of cool.
It's different.
Yeah,
See,
so
if I were to play a game like that had the time stopped, I'd be like, go to a gym and go into a girl's shower while time was stopped.
Anyway,
I'd slip out real quick.
But then you saw like the time unstopped just on its own. So if you go in there, you got to be ready to bail out at any moment.
Yeah.
Nick,
That
Nick,
explosion could.
I thought we went over this. If you're in a room full of naked girls, you don't bail out, dude. Oh my god!
You do at that moment just before you get your face slapped, big time.
Oh.
So remember, these are girls at a gym; they can kick your ass.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So
You got to go to a high school.
Nick,
I'm not going.
why don't you
there.
go to a grade school where you know they can kick your ass?
Exactly. See, you could take a grade schooler.
Be in a room full of brownies? Yeah.
Jesus. I'm not part of this.
All right. So Quantum Break, yeah, time shifting, time stuff. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. My next game came up was all of the stuff about Microsoft Studios. It looks like, though they brought up somebody from Dave McCartney from Microsoft Studios, they're working on this thing called Project Spark.
Yep. Before that, they had something called D4, and that's all it said, D4.
Yeah, that's from Swery. That's the guy that did.
Oh, really? I didn't see that. Did I miss that?
Yeah,
I
it was
must have
like-
been getting
it was-
coffee.
It was up and down real quick. It was like D4.
Yeah. It's just a quick little trailer. It doesn't explain much. It just says, "Hey, here's a game by Swery," and that's the guy that did Deadly Premonitions, which is this really janky but really intriguing game for 360.
Yeah, so right after D4, yeah, the Project Spark. And
Project
this,
Spark.
And this is when I had to take a big dump. I couldn't hold it. I was like, well, this looks like something I'm not ever going to do. So I hit the pause button and took a big dump. Oh, it took like 5 or 10 minutes. So I missed the whole thing. I ended up,
I thought it looked really cool.
It looks really cool. It's kind of the Xbox One alternative to Little Big Planet.
Yeah.
that's what it looked like.
But better because
not
it's not
bad.
you're not building a platform, you're actually building an action game, a fighting game.
Well, in the little montage, it looked like you could also build platformers, like 2D stuff.
Right. In fact, there was one that looks like Braid. Did you see that one?
Oh, Limbo?
Or sorry, Limbo, I meant.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Essentially, it's a game-making engine. It is Kinect-enabled so that you can tell it how you want to build stuff and call up menus and say, place this. Then you can also use Smart Glass to help customize. They showed it as customizing the environment, customizing the terrain. And what's also awesome, it creates a multiplayer game. And you essentially they give you kind of templates for characters, and then you can create the characters, and each of those characters have their own kind of, how could I say, qualities, characteristics, like whether they're just a pet or whether they're a fighter or whatever. But it looks like you can create some pretty detailed games that where you're fighting trolls. And looks super good. I saw they showed them build a very quick game. Looked very cool. Then they also showed a number of other games, or one other game that took the designers 3 days to build. And then they showed a kind of in a montage all of the other stuff that people have built using it in beta or early stages at this point. And it looks like it's really, really versatile to build. That's the thing about Little Big Planet is it lacked a lot of versatility. You could do a lot within the scope of what it did.
People found a way to make it versatile.
Right, but you had to kind of dimmy it in there. And I'll say it, the thing that drove me away from Little Big Planet, I was really playing it for quite a bit for some time, is that it was just such a humongous pile of shit games with a lot of really good games all put in there, but there was so much shit.
Yeah,
that you
I think
had to dig through to get to a good game.
I think with those type of games, the best thing you can do is wait 6 months and then buy it, because at that point, people will have gotten to know how to use it, and the people that are making the shit games will have gotten bored of it and stopped, and the people who love it will still be making stuff, and it's like, okay, that's when you jump in.
Yeah. Eric Cotton in the chat room says there was something that looked like Geometry Wars as well. Yeah, there was.
Yeah.
And who was it? Thomas Brown says Project Spark has a lot of imagination. It looks like an actual good use for Smart Glass and Kinect. I agree.
Yes.
That was the only time when I went, actually, you know what? This is kind of cool. The other
Well,
times
one
that they
other
used it,
time.
I was not all that impressed by it.
No, there was one other time I thought was pretty cool.
Oh.
That's coming up.
All right. So you will build a real game. it looks like it might even be I don't know if there'll be verses, but it definitely is multiplayer, which is kind of cool. So you can build the game and then play it with someone. So you build it together and you play it together. And then you can obviously post it for other people to play. It's going to be for Xbox Live and Windows 8. Then they brought out Mark Whitman, who introduced the more of the features that has to do with the Kinect, that has to do with Smart Glass, Smart Match, and the DVR, how they all work together. They brought out a woman named Ashton, who was part of the community management group. She wanted to show you as how to use Smart Glass with Rise. You could use it to start up a game. You could use it to set up multiplayer. You could use it to buy add-ons. And this is the thing I did not like, even though they were touting it, is looking at a timeline, which not only shows you where you are in your game, but offer hints to you and shows your friends' statuses and stats as well. The Smart Match finds a match in another game while you're playing a game. So you can literally hop from game to game, which is kind of cool. And then, of course, everything will auto record to the DVR. The last few, I guess, seconds of it. Well, they used to show the last few seconds of a match, but everything auto records to a DVR, and it's into something called Upload Studio, where you will edit it inside Xbox One and add a skin and then post it. And then, of course, they're going to be broadcasting. There's the option to broadcast anything live through Twitch TV, live streaming with voice and video, which is kind of cool because I wasn't sure if they would allow voice as well. But it's not just the video, it's the voice. So you can actually do game commentary while you're playing a game.
Yeah, the only thing about that, though, is that's been around for a little while, is I know EA Sports, they have a highlight reel thing, and there was somebody else that you could post highlights to a specific website, and it's fun for like 5 minutes, posting highlights and checking out your friends, and then after that, you never ever go back to it. So as cool as that sounds, it's something that it's like draw something. It's fun at first, but then it's like you really will never go back.
That's a good point.
And watch it. Have you ever gone and watched anybody's videos that's posted videos? At first,
no.
maybe.
No.
I've never have either.
Yes.
After the first 5 minutes, it's like, hey, check out this video. Then people stop looking at yours. You start looking at theirs. It's just like, oh, whatever.
But there's a huge community on YouTube of people making Let's Play videos.
Right.
Which is basically a person playing through a game and sort of commenting how they play it. And
the only way it would be good is if it was
community.
That's the thing, is that you're not using it, but there is a large community of people.
Oh, and that if there is, that's great. The only practical purpose I'd see for it is walkthroughs and stuff. If like Edie says, hey, I can't get through this part, and then me and Nick said, well, why don't we do it and we'll record it and show you what we did, that's when it would come in useful. But just watching, hey, watch, I killed 10 guys in a row. Yeah, whatever. But
well, that's focusing on it. Just has the like, what they call it, the like recording cool videos and posting it.
Right.
Like if you could record and post playthroughs of full games at a time, that's what Let's Plays do, and that's a different thing.
And that makes me wonder what their limits are, because there always there's got to be a time limit. Is there time limit a 5-minute time limit? Are we looking at a 10? Mm-hmm. Could you essentially launch a podcast, a vidcast, a gameplay vidcast as a legitimate vidcast on Xbox Live?
Like I said, I've only gone on to see the walkthroughs and the, I don't want to call them cheats, but the helps, like, you get stuck somewhere. It's like, okay, what am I, like Tomb Raider, like, what am I doing wrong?
Are you telling me that you would not go back and watch over and over us playing Dead Island?
No.
That night when we played Dead Island and laughed our asses off?
Because we were probably had a couple drinks and it was funny.
We were hilarious.
It was like if you're in a room telling a joke and it's like it builds up and joke on joke on joke and you laugh. But if someone said that joke like the next day at the office, it's just not as funny because you weren't there.
Right. And,
but I still say,
and that's the thing, is that you could listen to the whole thing and be with them while you're listening. You could get the joke.
That might be funny. A drunken game night thing may be funny.
But even if you don't use it a lot, even if you only use it as walkthrough, there's still a huge community of people that would just watch someone play through a game.
Nick, you keep bringing up this large community of people. Could you list any names or anything?
Yeah, go to YouTube and type in Let's
right,
Play.
type in Let's Play.
I'm not going anywhere. I'd like you to tell me some names of people that do this. Do you have specific names?
Okay, there's Let's Play, which is the guys from Rooster Teeth. They do walkthroughs of a whole bunch of, not walkthroughs, but basically
Nick,
Let's Plays of a whole bunch of games.
You just wrecking everything. Nick.
There's the Rad Brad who does one. He's actually a guy I like.
One thing I would watch is if the guy,
Yeah,
remember they
suck
had
it.
the,
No,
remember they had
wrong.
the,
Boob joke imminent.
you remember when they had the competition for Skyrim to see who could finish Skyrim the quickest, and a guy did it like in 2 hours, 17 minutes?
Yeah.
I would watch that.
See,
That's what I would
but that's
watch.
the imagination.
But
That's the imagination that comes behind that. Essentially, they're creating a box for you to use to have imagination like that, like competitions. Who can post the fastest finish on any game?
I wouldn't watch you do it. I wouldn't watch Nick do it. I wouldn't watch 9 hours of you guys playing a
But
game.
we could sponsor a competition, and people would submit to us.
But again, I told you, even if you wouldn't watch us play 9 hours of a game, there are people
Who
would
do.
watch someone else play 9 hours of a game.
No, you don't
instead of playing it themselves.
Nick, you don't seem to understand. See, the Xbox One only works if Goalie likes it. If
That's true.
Goalie
I'm
doesn't
forgetting
like
that.
it,
Forgetting
then it's
that.
a bad
Can
idea.
you go back to the part of people submitting to us? That was pretty cool.
They're not submitting to us; they're just submitting to you.
All right, so in the chat room, it says, Eric Cotton says, I wonder if it will work with snap screen feature, like if you have your game in, and then in another screen, there could be a walkthrough or a guide. Oh, that would be great.
I can't imagine.
I would
Wait,
like it
what-
if it took snapshots of the screen. Because like when I created that NASCAR and I put it on, I had to take that with my iPhone. It'd be great if you could like snap a picture and
Oh, I'm
email it to
sure.
yourself.
I'm sure that that's going to come along.
See, there are some features that could be good about both the Xbox One and the PS4. You know, I don't know if they're there yet. They didn't go into much detail, so I'm not like saying that it's going to be totally horrible. And you guys keep like making me the bad guy here, the black hat and the mustache.
Oh, the bad guy.
No,
You're the
but
horrible
it's just,
person.
It just I'm not sold on it yet. The
that's fine.
positives they've not outweighed the negatives yet.
I'm actually not sold on it either, but I
I'm
do
not
think
either.
that the live streaming is probably the coolest new feature of the next generation.
Now, if PS4 did the exact same thing,
Yeah, that'd be great.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Right.
what I'm
And see,
saying.
that's the thing, is that all those questions are all going to be answered tonight. This is just the first introduction
Maybe.
of what we're
We'll
going to do.
see. Fingers crossed. Hopefully.
Next thing they brought up was the friends list. They brought up a lot of stuff that they dropped and then didn't explain. Friends list is expanded to more than 100.
They said that in the reveal.
Right. But they didn't say where it's going. How many?
I thought it was 1,000.
They just said friends list expanded.
I thought they said 1,000 at the reveal.
Did they say 1,000? Okay.
Major
Chat
Nelson,
room. Did they say 1,000 at reveal? Chat
For
room.
some
go.
reason, I had that number in my head.
Major Nelson tweeted, "quote unlimited," end quote.
What?
Oh,
What?
wow.
It said friends list is quote air quotes unlimited.
Who on earth has unlimited friends? That person is too social. We need to kill those kind of people. They are not to be trusted.
Yeah, I think the 1,000 was just one of those conjectures that have been floating around, but really,
Yeah, that could be.
It's just a number they threw
really?
out.
That's interesting.
I don't like the limited friends.
Local currency, not Microsoft points. We knew about that. Xbox Live Gold sharing.
That seems pretty neat.
Right, so that the content that you download as an Xbox Live Gold member, you're going to be able to share. But that goes back to the 10 people who have your shit, can access your shit, which is kind of cool.
So if, like, they're still charging for Xbox Gold, and that's still kind of a messed up thing when you think about it. Even more messed up when they're, like, putting free-to-play games behind that paywall.
Uh-huh.
But if they sort of loosen the restrictions where it's like, hey, if you buy one subscription, 10 people can use it in your family, that seems like kind of a nice way of relaxing the subscriptions while still getting money from people yearly.
Okay, here's my tin hat conspiracy theorist jumping in here. All right, so they're going to know what your house sounds like. They're going to know what your house looks like. They're going to know what you play. They're going to know what television you watch. And now they're going to have a list of your family and friends. with their locations.
Well, you wouldn't actually need the locations.
Well, if they were far away from you, like, say that your brother lives in Boston and you live in California, or like Goalie and I, that they actually know your closest friends, so that they would, because information that comes from your friends you listen to more than information that comes from strangers. So they will now know your closest friends, your buddies, and where they live and what they look like and what they sound like and what they talk about and what their house looks like.
I heard they're going to integrate it with Facebook, and if you're not friends in the close circle on Facebook.
No. Don't start evil rumors like that. They probably, at some point, will probably figure out what you look like naked, because you'll probably walk in that room at some point naked. So, just saying, Tin Hat's conspiracy theory. This is a little creepy. That there is the possibility that they are collecting a large amount of information on you. What are you laughing about? Unlimited e-penises? Nick, stop trolling our own chat room.
I'm not trolling anyone.
Shawnikin, don't encourage him. Dave, stop drawing dirty pictures in the chat room. Corey, stop it. Beetle dick indeed. Yes, Sean, this used to be a classy podcast until you started it.
When? When? What episode?
Long ago, when the Earth was young.
I have no idea what's going on. All right, so next one. Then they started having some sound problems in the hall, and they exclusively to Xbox One.
Somebody tweeted, and I retweeted and said the reason why the sound went out was because they were trying to get Xbox One to connect to the internet. They once a day connect.
I feel
once
bad
a day trying to get. Oops.
I feel bad for the guy with Battlefield 4. He's like, "Oh, we go? Right? Okay. Nope. I guess we'll do it later."
Actually, no? I feel bad for Crimson Dragon.
Yeah, they didn't get
any sound, and nobody stopped. And then when they brought out Battlefield 4, I'm like, "Oh fuck! Well, I guess we got to fix it now."
I like it. Well, clearly, like, hey, Battlefield 4, we got to stop and have sound. Crimson Dragon, nah,
whatever. Fuck it. Crimson Dragon looks good. Whatever.
Yeah.
Then they brought out Josh Bridge and Mike Jones of Capcom Vancouver, and they introduced Dead Rising 3, which looks awesome!
Now, this is the one that I thought they had use of the smart glass pretty well. Is at the very end there when he called in the airstrike.
Calls in
on
an airstrike
glass.
using smart glass.
That I thought was really neat. Right. The rest of Dead Rising 3...
The airstrike was smart glass?
Yeah. I thought it was way too busy.
Yeah,
I thought this was Left 4 Dead 2 times 2. It was way too many zombies.
Well, that's what not Left 4 Dead.
That's what Dead Rising is.
That's what Dead Rising is. It's about tons of zombies on screen at once.
Yeah. There was too many. There was no break. It was just everywhere you looked.
But that's what makes Dead Rising cool and fun, is that there were zombies everywhere.
Right.
And I love the fact that when he was driving through it with the car, there were so many zombies that actually slowed down the car.
Yes, I love that too. I thought that was awesome. And the that there you're gonna have unlimited. Well, a lot of. Well, they said unlimited, but I don't know about that. A unique amount of ways to customize your weapons. When you can get a chainsaw and then a sledgehammer, and then he attached the chains. No, it was a chainsaw. It was a circular saw to the sledgehammer.
Yeah, and I thought it was great that they could do that anywhere. That he just did that on the ground. Because one of the things about Dead Rising is that you always had to get to like a workbench, and that meant like your inventory was always limited.
Right.
And so then you'd like pick up 3 different pieces of something, and you'd carry around these like 3 useless pieces, hoping that you'd find a workbench and you could craft something awesome. So knowing that you could just do that anywhere, that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
That means you're not walking around with shit. It's like you've always got a badass weapon.
Right, because you're not essentially stockpiling, hoarding crap because you have to wait until you get to a bench.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really, really, really like that. And it also seemed that, they make a point of it showing that the weapons are freaking everywhere in that game, which is good because it looks like they break a lot.
Yeah, they do.
So actually, a guy in the chat room, who was it? Was it Terry there?
Terry Sweeten?
Yeah, he's not into the zombies.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I'm not a zombie guy. It's like, I am, but I just have zombies been done to death? Have the zombies jumped the shark?
Done to undeath? That's what Iruga said. Done to undead?
See, I
You
disagree.
said they've been done to death, and they're not dead. They're undead, so it would be done to undeath.
If it was done to death, State of Decay wouldn't have sold like it did.
Hold on a second. Let's take a break. Goalie's got to catch up. His buffer is full. Buffering.
His computer doesn't know what's going on.
That's right. Needs to defrag his hard drive.
I was still taking a dump at that point.
Wow, that was quite a dump.
It was.
So, you at the end they showed that he was trying to get into the city center, and there was just way too much. He couldn't get past it, obviously, and he used the smart glass to call in a artillery support, and that's how it ended. And it looked awesome, and I can't wait for that one. That one gave me a great big.
I never get into any of the Dead Rising ones. I tried to get into one, and I didn't.
I never really.
Well,
played
what's interesting
any
is
Dead
that
Rising.
they're super janky ass games, but they've got some interesting ideas.
They weren't smooth. I mean, the idea of using
no.
a lawnmower and running over zombies. I don't know. I just think I've done the zombie.
He has too
thing.
much respect for zombies to kill them like that.
I got the T-shirt. I've killed so many zombies in my life. I'm just tired of zombies.
And then the next one, there was Joe Mamias of OD Project Red.
CD Project Red?
CD Project. Sorry, I'm reading my
Yeah.
notes and it looks like I just was writing fast. CD Project Red.
Yeah.
Witcher 3.
I'm excited.
Looked good, but it's on Xbox, but he did not say exclusive, so it's not exclusive to
No,
Xbox.
it's not. It definitely won't be.
And this Witcher is going to be free roaming open world, which I think sounds like very much a theme of this year's games so far. I mean, it's a little early to tell what the big theme of the games are, but open world, I guess because you have this new console, you have the bigger processor, that open world is now much more doable, and a lot of games that have not been open world in the past are now.
Mm-hmm. Open world is also a good buzzword.
Yep. Oh, free roam, open world, non-linear quest, optional voice commands in combat.
Yeah.
And you going to be using smart glass device for inventories to do inventory management and stuff like that. It looks like an awesome Witcher game. I'm excited.
I know,
did
man.
too.
I loved The Witcher 2.
I
and
Didn't like 2. Didn't like 2 at all. So I don't know. The only thing I liked about it is I did see the mermaid with digital boobs. I rewound that a couple times.
Yeah, Thomas Brown Jr. says Witcher 2 looked amazing. It's on PS4 and PC too. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That means that I'm not making any decisions about what I'm buying until I see what Sony has to say. Next item that came up was DICE with Battlefield 4. You're running it 60 frames per second when they got it running.
It's more Battlefield. It's more Battlefield.
Yep, it's definitely more Battlefield. And maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just getting old. But man, a lot of these shooter games are all starting to fucking look the same. Did you notice that when you see them back to back to back, it's like all the same?
Yeah.
Up until the end. Up until the end.
Where? When they... Although shooting
Titanfall.
out the aircraft. Oh, except Titan. Well, even Titanfall had elements
But
of it.
Titanfall looked actually cool. Battlefield 4 looks like EA still trying to mimic Call of Duty. Titanfall looked like the guys who made Call of Duty saying, no, we've already done that. Let's do something different.
Yeah, it's true.
And it looks cool.
Yep. In the Battlefield 4, the thing that struck me was when you're up against another squad of enemies, a unit of enemies in front of you, and you're pressed for time because this boat is sinking. And instead of shooting them all dead, you shoot an aircraft carrier that was uphill from them and slides down and takes them out.
And that was cool, but I can't help but think it'd been faster just to shoot them.
Right. Probably would have. But it
Well, you know what?
cool.
For as much as we joke about it, that was a real cool set piece.
Yeah.
It looked great.
It did.
It just...
And the big announcement for that is that the first map pack on Xbox One before anywhere else. So you're going to get first crack at the maps on Xbox One. But not exclusive crack at the maps, just first.
Although, with the maps coming to that first and the maps coming to Call of Duty first, clearly if you like military shooters, Xbox is trying to get you to go with them.
Yeah. Well, so far. We'll
Yeah.
see. This is only one half of the story. This is just the prosecution. It's not
Well,
the defense.
With the map exclusives for Battlefield and Call of Duty, that's clearly like, hey, look, we are the military shooter console. If you like military shooters, we're the console for you.
Terry Sweeten in the chat room says, "Say it again, Nick. Titanfall looks awesome."
Titanfall looks awesome.
Looks awesome.
It does. I can't tell if he's being sarcastic, but I'm genuinely excited about that. I thought that looked badass.
Terry Sweeten also says that the Witcher trailer thing made him more excited for Elder Scrolls in 4 to 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Phil Spencer then just came out at that part of the show and introduced us to a new game that looks like an art game called Below. It's kind of like Journey, but with fighting.
Is it called Below or What's Below?
Well, I think it's just called Below.
Below.
Oh.
But it's kind of a roguelike exploration game, kind of co-op, which all sounds pretty neat.
Interesting, but it was blink and you'd missed it.
Mm-hmm.
Was not much about it at all, but it looked interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And then they made the big announcement that they have purchased 5 new studios that are going to be developing exclusive Xbox One AA or AAA titles. One of them being Black Tusk. And they showed a game that they did not offer a name to, but it was kind of a a futuristic kind of Deus Ex-y looking thing.
Yeah, I have no idea what that's...
Right, they just kind of showed it, and it's like, we're supposed to be excited about this? It looks like fucking Deus Ex, dude.
Hey, I like Deus Ex.
I mean, I like Deus Ex too, but instead of like showing me something that you're not going to tell me anything about and just giving me literally 10 seconds of screen time, why don't you just not tell me? I don't care.
Yeah, I agree. I'd kind of like to see a little bit more of that.
And then, of course, another studio that they talked about was 343 Industries, who is doing an Xbox exclusive of a little game called Halo.
Yeah! Halo! It's back! Halo 4, 5, 6, yeah! More Halo, more billboards, more commercials!
Wow, you're really excited for this.
Yep. 2014. You've got a whole year to be excited about this.
Why don't they call it Halo 1? That'd be awesome. Halo 1 and Xbox One. Woo! Let's confuse everybody.
Now that you say that, I hope they do that. I hope to God that they do
I will. That. If they call it Halo 1, I will buy the Xbox One. And if they have a Halo 1, Xbox One, design box, how they have those there? Those what do they call those? When there's a theme, and it's like they have the yellow one for this. Yeah. If they have a special limited edition Halo 1 for Xbox One for $7.99, I will get it. And I won't even turn it on. I'll just keep it in the corner, and I will never use it. But that was so awesome. Halo 1 on Xbox One.
And Thomas Brown Jr. in the chat room says they really need to never let Phil Spencer on the stage. That guy just comes off as dishonest. I know! I'm right with you. Yes, he always seems like he's lying. Or at least he's telling you a partial truth and that you're not quite sure. He's like the guy that cheats at cards. Like, he's telling you something, but you know that there's something wrong with it. And you're trying to figure out, but the more he talks, the less you can figure out what he's hiding. But anyway, Halo 2014.
The one thing that really confused me about Halo is that why did Master Chief need to wear a hood? Because he's got the helmet on.
Right, because
I don't get it.
To look like to hide him, just to hide. It was to hide. Come on, it was totally artifice. It was just a function to
I know.
hide who he was and make it a big reveal.
When that happened, I was like, I just couldn't help but think, why does he have a hood? There's absolutely no reason for him to have a hood.
Yeah.
Is Phil Spencer, is that the drummer from Genesis?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, Corey brings up a good point. He said technically Halo 1 was called Halo Combat Evolved. So if they came out with Halo 1, that would be very distinct from Halo Combat Evolved.
Stop. Yeah. Just stop. Stop. I'm going to go into a tirade again. I got another one coming.
Terry Sweeten said it was a great trailer. It looked like Destiny at first. I thought so, too. I thought it was a good job of hiding what it was until the last second.
Maybe that's why he was wearing the hoodie.
Why?
Maybe that was 343 is kind of purposely looking, hey, look at this game. It looks like Destiny. Nope, it's Halo. Gotcha.
And then, of course, the big news, November release date, $499 US, 499 euros, 429 in the UK. Dudes, you in the UK are getting fucked on that exchange rate. Seriously. $500. I told you, $500. Too expensive?
That's a lot. I don't know. I certainly don't want to pay $500.
Yeah, no, I don't think.
They're getting hammered. I just went on the Facebook and on the Married Gamers Facebook, they put up a thing and said, "What do you think about that $4.99 price?" And it's getting hammered.
Chat room, go. $4.99 price. Too much? Or is it just... Microsoft is very good at pricing things that is just at the level where you're just uncomfortable enough that you're not happy.
Sure, $150 for Kinect would be way too much.
$150 for and it was what?
When it first came out.
And it was $150.
It was. And I thought that was insane.
Yeah.
But apparently people bought it.
Well, see, my issue is that if that's like the cheapest one, if they usually have a couple different ones, and 500 is the cheapest one, and I got to buy two, one for me, one for the wife. That's $1,000 plus games. So that ain't going to happen for a long time.
There was a tweet that one of the guys from GameSpot tweeted. His personal theory was that $5.99, because that's a lot. His belief is that maybe that means Microsoft will come out with a cheaper version subsidized with like an Xbox Live or cable subscription.
Right. That makes sense. Terry Sweeten says, it's not surprising to me. I was expecting $500. Shonikin says it's price rape. Thomas Brown says, Jr. says at $500, that just isn't a mass market price. That's over $600 USD for the UK. That's insane. Agreed. You guys are $660.
See, I agree.
The UK, I think talk about subsidized. I think the UK is subsidizing the American price.
Yeah.
Because that's an insane amount of money for you guys.
How many goats is that in Pakistan?
Fucking yeah, no kidding.
It's just two. Goats are really highly valuable in Pakistan.
Thomas Brown says if Sony price is similar, then Nintendo can hold off on a price drop for the Wii U. Wii U sales are going to shoot up.
Only if they have games, which they don't have.
Yeah, that's the thing. They really have to get some of those games
but
on there.
I kind of agree with people that $500, when you think about it, I understand it and it makes sense and it's not surprising, but it's still more than I want to pay.
Right.
Personally, I don't want to pay over $400 for anything. But that's just me.
Right, and that's the thing, is that Microsoft always prices things at just the level where you're really, it's a little too much. If it was $450, I would have been happy. But it's $499, and then it's
plus tax.
And then so you're just, it's like, I don't know, and then you kind of warm into it.
But it comes with Jet Set Radio.
Ruga says 429 pounds plus a 50-pound game plus another $35 or 35-pound controller. Well, I guess that makes.
Oh yeah, remember the day when consoles came with games?
Yeah. Do you think the McLaren has Xbox One in it?
And the final thing. And one more thing item was they introduced, and we've already talked about already, Titanfall, which is going to be by Respawn, which they brought out Vince Zampella. Formerly of the
Infinity Ward.
Yes, thank you, Infinity Ward, who got fucked over by. That must have been an awkward backstage, or I didn't. Actually, there was nobody there.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, there wasn't anyone from Infinity Ward.
From Activision.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that's good. Well, yeah. Vince Zampella, Respawn, who he and Steve Bakuda, one of the designer, introduced Titanfall. It looks like it's a civil war. Because I noticed it was other humans, but you have a choice of being either a first-person shooter or being in a mech, and you can jump back and forth, and there are other mechs that are fighting you, so it doesn't look like you're fighting anything with a different technology than you. And they showed us something that was kind of like a capture the flag, thing, where to kind of like like
it had all the
Battlefield
same
or
game
anything else.
modes, but just the idea of putting in these giant mechs that you can't fight as a human, but you kind of can in certain circumstances. And then you can call on your own. Like that it just seems like a nice twist on
And the mechs seem to have
battles.
like powers. Like there was one where he collected all the ammo that was being shot at him and then threw it back and did massive damage to the mech that was shooting at him.
Yeah.
Well, I had a one-word review for this, and it was mech.
Yeah. I wrote spring 2014 is that date, and Thomas Brown Jr. says Titanfall looks like another first-person shooter until the mech combat. The mech combat makes it look awesome.
Yeah. I thought it was awesome how that guy ejected from the mech and then landed on the other mech. Like, just that scene alone, it was like, okay, fuck yeah, I'm in.
Pretty badass. Thomas Brown Jr. says, I thought $3.99 was pushing it, but I am not paying $4.99 before a game and an extra controller. Agreed. Yep, you're going to look at a $600 investment for, a television controller that plays games. Sorry about that. So
wrapping up. What was the highlights and the lowlights of the show for everybody? And that goes for the chat room too. Chat room, go.
For me, chat room, go. Dead Rising. Dead Rising, definitely.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I really, 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 really like the idea of Dead Rising. And I think that as far as the E for effort was, what the fuck was the name of that? The game maker. Project Spark. Project Spark looks really intriguing. Really intriguing. But also might be on that so ambitious that it fails miserably.
Mm-hmm. For some reason, even though they really didn't show a lot of Quantum Break, I'm really, really intrigued by what they showed, and I have faith in Remedy to make something cool.
Right.
And seeing more of that than just what they showed at the reveal seems really cool. So Quantum Break and Titanfall, I like.
Yep. I thought the low point was the price.
Yeah.
Bottom line. They pretty much stayed completely away from bad news, except for the bad news of the price. You notice that? They didn't mention used games. They didn't mention anything.
They sent out that press release late last week, and I think they did that specifically so that they wouldn't have to focus on any of that now.
Right, because they're not doing the roundtable today.
But Eric Cotton came up with a good point. He said some of the people on Twitter are arguing that it's the same price as an iPad. And that is true.
Yeah, but that's an iPad. That's like saying it's also less expensive than a car. It's not the same thing.
But people buy iPads a lot.
Right. But
so if they price it similar as that kind of seems equal. To not upgrade your iPad for 1 year?
Well, people that upgrade their iPads every single year aren't going to worry about spending $500 for this. That's not the issue.
But are you saying like an iPad does more, or that it's a better tool?
It's a different tool. It's apples and oranges. Like I said,
well,
it doesn't. It's a car.
But...
A car drives. I mean, you could just not upgrade your car and buy an Xbox. It's like no, that's.
You're also not buying $60 games for your iPad.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. That's absolutely true. iPad games at the most are going to be $10. At the most. Most of them are 99 cents or free. And it does a whole lot other things than this Xbox does. It actually helps.
It's portable.
And it's portable, and you can take it anywhere. You can stick it in your bag. You can actually do work on it.
In my mind, they still seem equal.
It's a computer versus a television console. Yeah, but you can't can you write a story on Xbox? No.
Can you do it on the iPad?
Yes. Yeah, I've got a keyboard that attaches to it. I have written stories on the iPad. So, all
right. Well, my high was the obviously it was all the 360 stuff because I love how they're keeping going with that. They didn't kick that to the side, and I like how they. But probably my biggest one was the World of Tanks.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that because I know, like I said, I had a friend of mine who's all excited to play it, and it's finally a game that maybe we could all play together and maybe set up private rooms and the whole bit. So this was a game I was looking to check out online. I just haven't got there yet. So having it come to Xbox 360 is awesome. I'm really excited about that. And my low point was that they stayed away from the fires. They didn't go near the fire. They didn't touch on anything that was a concern to anybody. They really avoided the hot issues. They didn't talk about the pimple on the nose. You know, they really they stayed away, and they tried to show off their games and their different things. And while there were some very neat things on the Xbox One, all in all, I need to know more about these other issues.
I have a question for you now, and for, I guess, other people in the chat.
Are
you now worried that Xbox is not focusing on games?
No.
Chat, go.
No. And I never was anyway.
I know. Well, that's why I'm asking Goalie and other people.
Right. The ones that were like, where's the games? 2 weeks ago.
It's not focusing on the games. They're abandoning games. Do you still feel that way?
Oh, no. I fully thought that they were going to do games because they have to. But when they come out...
That is so... Would you like to re-roll the tape? Would you like some playback on that one?
Oh, Edie, I was going to say to splice it in. But
I can't do it,
Let me explain. They're the games that they come out with, they're not wowing me. I didn't come out as going, oh, my gosh, they're taking games to a level that I never thought. It's like more games. Okay, so it has to play games. Obviously, it's an Xbox. It has to play games. So all the other stuff in the other press conference was all about TVs and this and that. And I was like, okay, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Show me the games. They've shown me the games. And I'm more excited about the games for the 360 than I am for the Xbox One. So obviously, Nick, they have to do games. So if you're trying to get me in a gotcha moment, ain't going to happen.
I am so splicing together both.
I know. This is like...
Of course they got to do games.
Liar!
Of course they got to do games.
Oh, my God!
No, screw you guys. Kiss my ass.
This is my world, and I'm in it. And on my world, I wasn't worried about them not doing games. You literally said they're not focusing on games. They're abandoning games. You literally said that.
They're abandoning games. I said that they are not putting their full attention on the games to make it a better gaming system. And I stand by that. I am not thrilled by what I saw. I'm not.
Yeah.
Did anything that they showed today, anything at all, can you not do that on the 360? There wasn't anything that said, boy, I can't wait for the Xbox One because there's no way that could happen.
Well, nothing granted.
That's what I'm
saying.
We
were seeing it.
Leaps.
Right. We were seeing that only on our screens I was seeing it through Xbox 360. We have to take the words of the developers that are working on it and also seeing the other functions. But when they're saying that they're running Halo at 60 frames per second, that's there.
And I think when you look at it and you see the graphics, it's better graphics, but I think it's also better graphics in open world games, and maybe open world games with a lack of loading screens, like Witcher and Metal Gear Solid. Right. And being able to have those big experiences like Skyrim, but, think of Skyrim where you don't have to go through a 30-second loading screen every time you walk through a door.
Right.
The only thing that was different in any of these games, okay, because this is basically just like, hey, look, a new Battlefield. Hey, look, a new Witcher. Hey, look, a new Halo. Mm-hmm. Okay? That could come out for 360. So what I was saying was they concentrate on all this TV stuff and all this other stuff. And are you going to focus on games or not? The only thing that I saw in this that was any different than the Xbox 360, aside from the DVR function with the Twitch TV or whatever the heck that is, was that the Avatar car driver. That was the only thing in all the games that I saw.
See, I don't think that you were looking.
Of games.
Yeah, I don't think you were kind of looking, because there was a lot of stuff that couldn't be done on the 360.
I think the design of games takes longer to change than the graphics. Obviously, all the first-gen games are just going to be very similar with better graphics.
Right.
Oh, Jason Webb brings up a great point about the cloud integration for games. Does your game shut down if the internet drops out, if you have an internet hiccup?
Right, and those are the questions that they would have answered in the roundtable, but they're not holding the roundtable. So that's all information that's going to have to come out. To say that this was the be-all, end-all of answers for the Xbox One, it's not. The key is that now we've got way more information about what it's going to be as far as a gaming console. And as far as that's concerned, I'm not terribly disappointed.
Not really. that didn't show much. It didn't,
Really?
Really? You don't think so?
Like an hour and a half.
No,
of
I
games.
am not wowed by this. My jaw didn't hit the floor. I'm not like, oh my gosh, this is the most unbelievable thing.
Well,
I'm not-
have
No,
you
but I
ever?
don't think- I
have
don't
you ever
think-
watched one of those and gotten that experience? I've never. There's always been like, there's a lot of questions still out there every single time you
And
have that.
I think that depends on the games. That depends on the developers, not the publishers, not Microsoft or Sony. Because nothing Sony showed at their reveal made my jaw drop.
Right.
Nothing anyone showed really made me excited, except for like Titanfall and Metal Gear Solid. And kind of looking at that made me think, but not like, oh, they're doing something so insanely different. That looks great. But more like they're tweaking established games and established conventions, and I think that's interesting, and I want to play that.
Right.
I guess there was no like BioShock Infinite was like, holy motherfucker, that looks incredible.
Right. But you will also see those not necessarily at Xbox because they're all about, it being about Xbox. If these games are like, holy fuck, incredible, we're going to see those at the game events or game, things, which is, I guess the first one is in about 40 minutes. That's Ubisoft, EA. Those are coming up to later today. And then Sony finishes up this evening.
I got a text from Force Man, says he didn't woohoo.
He didn't woohoo. Well, I don't think this was a woohoo event. I agree with Goalie. Was I blown away? No. Am I ever blown away by any of these things? Not really. The Kinect sort of was interesting. The only thing that ever really blew me away, honestly, was the Nintendo the balance pad.
The balance pad.
The pad, the thing that you danced on for the Wii.
The weight sensing thing?
Yes.
Really?
I forget what it's fucking called. Yeah, that was the one when I realized this changes everything.
Fit.
That
The
didn't
Fit,
change
Wii Fit.
anything.
That's it. Yeah, it did.
That changed nothing.
And the Wii when the Wii first came out. That was
Wii
the one.
controller
Was like,
changed things. But the
Wii
balance pad. was
the
nothing.
balance pad did because it was the first
not
time of
really.
using your whole body as opposed to just your hands.
Granted, there was that like Wii Fit game where if you use a balance thing, you could use your butt to control a game. That was certainly an experience I'd never had before.
Right. So
They should have done some things that would have wowed me is that was what they were talking about. And I don't know if it's PlayStation can do it or Xbox can do it, the new one, but if they had like been playing a game and then like paused and shut it down and then come right back and pick it up where they left off. I think they were talking about doing that. That is a big game innovation.
hey, Goalie, 10 minutes to the EA conference. So we should probably get up because I have yet to
I thought it
eat.
was
I'm not going to watch that.
And you're not going to watch it. Nick's got to go to work. So it looks like I'm going to have to come back after the EA conference and we will discuss in the chat room. So stay tuned for the EA wrap up. That is going to be in, by the way, in the chat room go. Did you like this form better of coming back after the fact and talking about it or doing it while we're listening to the show? It's up to you. But do give me some feedback and I'll leave the chat room open for a little while we close this out.
And do you like the fact that Nick and Edie are ganging up on me and they had collusion before this went on?
It was
gang up on me?
you totally were upset and crying that they were abandoning games.
Nick,
I could
abandoning.
taste your
I said
tears
they
through
were
the internet.
they were focusing too much on the TV stuff. That's what I said.
I will be the judge on this one. I'm going to go back into, when I have time, go back into it and we will repost. And I will do a mirror image on Spreaker.
And I stand by what I say is that what they showed me today showed me they have not been working as hard on the games as they have on all this TV stuff.
They don't work on games.
When they
All right,
show me something,
we gotta go. We're hitting old material, and I gotta go because we're doing this thing in 10 minutes with EA. So,
Was EA at 12:30? I thought it was at 1.
I'm okay, everybody's saying after the fact. Okay, good. We'll do this after. Okay, Ruga, I'm gonna trust you that you said it's at 12:30. I thought it was at 1, but I would rather be half an hour early than a half an hour late. So, gentlemen, Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to be back after the event, so please, it's been a long time since I've hosted a show all by myself. Nick's got to go to work. Goalie's not going to be watching the EA, so we will talk later. Goalie, I would highly recommend you do watch EA, because if you're looking for game information and you're upset about not being wowed by games, you should probably watch games, not consoles. So anyway, okay, Terry says it's at 1. It's only 12:30. EA's at 1. Okay, so I got a half hour. All right, good. Whew, thank goodness.
Maybe.
Well, I still,
if you're nice to me, you haven't been nice.
You
to me.
should. You should watch this. This will help. I'm trying to help you feel better.
You're scolding.
I'm not. I'm helping. I'm trying to help you feel better.
I'll see if I can hop on Spreaker.
Goalie, tell me about your mother.
You sound
Tell
like
me more about your mother.
You sound like an ex-wife right now. Just saying.
All right. I will talk to you guys later. Bye, everyone. Thanks for being in the chat room. See you as soon as the minute the EA ends. We'll be jumping on this one as well. Talk to you later. Bye.
Boo.